Hi everyone, this is just a little video about weaving Viking leg wraps. This is the herringbone twill pattern, and they would have been woven exactly like this 1,000 years ago, only on a different style loom. This is a fairly modern loom, it's about 80 years old, but the technique is exactly the same. We have warp, we have weft going that way, and we raise the different pedals. I raise them by pedals at the bottom. In Viking Age times, they would have used sticks and string pedals, but exactly the same technique. This is just a more modern loom. Now, depending on the treadling patterns and the threading patterns, that is what gives you all the different patterns that you can have. So I can have exactly the same threading pattern on the heddles, but if I use a different treadling pattern, I will get a diamond, like bird's eye twill instead of the herringbone twill. So the pattern is a combination of threading the heddles in the correct order there and treadling in the right order with my feet. These are made of 100% wool, single strand for the warp, and I'm using a double strand for the weft. That's 2 strands together. Then they have to be washed and finished. There will be some shrinkage, which is to be expected because it's wool. But since most of our gear was made out of wool and linen back in Viking times, I think they would have got used to a bit of shrinkage here and there. So it still takes me about 4 or 5 hours to thread the loom up, because there's 11 metres of warp thread on the back beam. And then several days to weave the leg wraps. So it still would have taken exactly the same amount of time to do it back then. Whereas I have a warping frame that I can just wind 11 metres of warp backwards and forwards on the frame. They might have had fence posts or trees or things like that to wind the warp. But as far as the weaving goes, exactly the same technique, except this is new equipment. This is for one set of leg wraps, so I've got 11 metres of warp, and there's always a bit of waste at the start and the finish, so they're probably going to be about 4 3/4 metres each in length when I've finished and when they've been washed. And the treadling pattern is just straightforward 1 2 3 4. So I've got 6 pedals down there. The 2 outside ones I leave alone for this pattern, so it was just the middle 4, 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4. So that's my treadling pattern. So there you go.